Yesterday, we told you about a jump in divorces among baby boomers. The number of breakups doubled between 1990 and 2010. Ending a marriage can mean serious changes to your retirement plans. CBS News legal analyst Jack Ford and Money Magazine senior writer Donna Rosato are here with us this morning. You know, it used to be in most divorce cases you worry about the kids. Now you have to start thinking about retirement. How come?
It's an interesting thing because it's, you know, you're talking about my generation, the baby boomers, and we're hearing that, first of all, we're all living longer.
Yeah.
And with the living longer comes sometimes changes in expectations for your life, what you're looking for in your life. And I think also we've seen that the notion of divorce, there's less of a stigma that attaches to it than we've seen in the past.
That's very true. And I think, as you said, you know, people are living longer. If you're in your 50s or 60s, you could be married for another 30 or 40 years. That's not always the thought that people want.
So I never even thought about this, but this could affect your 401k, your retirement plan. I guess in some cases you would have to split up your 401k if you get divorced. Is that right?
That's right. You sort of think of your 401k as your own, but any assets you accumulate in your marriage, your 401k, those are marital assets, and those are things that will be split when you get divorced. So you just have to remember to keep that in mind. But when you get divorced, of course, that if you're a couple married, you go into your retirement, you're going to have a larger kitty. Once you get divorced, that can be split in half.
What if you started saving for retirement before marriage?
Well, that's interesting because there are different ways that jurisdiction looks at how do you handle that split up of assets. There's some jurisdictions where they talk about community property, which essentially says whatever you have in the marriage, split it down the middle. Others talk about what they call equitable distribution, which is the court takes a look at what's the fair way to do it. Generally speaking, if you bring something into the marriage, when you leave, that goes with you. You know, somebody who marries late in life, maybe for 20 years, they've already accumulated an IRA and a pension plan. So generally the law says, all right, something that you had with you that was clearly yours will stay yours afterwards. The question becomes generally, everything that you've accumulated in the meantime, what are we going to do with that?
So what do I do if I'm in my 50s and older, getting a divorce, and I still want to keep my retirement? I want my money, Jack. I don't want to give up my money.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to tell you as your lawyer, you're not getting all of your money, Gail. It's going to be divided. And the question is, what is the most efficient way to do it? And one of the suggestions that people make is, look, sometimes you've got to fight it out in a courtroom. Sometimes you can't resolve it. The best thing to do, lawyers will tell you, is try to settle it, because otherwise the costs of combat in the courtroom, legal fees, experts, takes a huge chunk right off the top.
Yeah. And quickly about Social Security benefits.
Yes, people don't realize when you get divorced, you still actually are entitled to your ex-spouse's Social Security benefits if you don't remarry and you've been married for 10 years. And that's important because your spouse may be entitled to a larger benefit. So when you
Donna,
retire, Social Security is important.
Thank you, Jack.
All right.
Yes.